That was valuable information that you shared, and I guess you touched on a lot of points. And the point being relationship, communication. And I think the disconnect with brands that I've been in, I don't know about you, it's been the relationships. You are in a system, call each other franchise partner. And when you say partner, that's a strong word to use, partner. So your success depends on our success, right? Happy. If you don't have happy franchises, happy franchisees in the system, you don't have a system because that's your system. We should be, we are the business of the franchisor, the franchise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you said, they don't communicate that effect to us to make us feel part of that system, right? But when it's like a relationship. You know how a woman they'll do what they can, or a man do what you can to get the woman. But when you get the woman, you kind of backs off, right? That's what they do, and that's why it's so many unhealthy. And the ones I know is so many unhealthy franchisors out there because of this particular reason. They've lost focus on the real relationship aspect of franchise, right? We know it's your system. We know it's your sandbox. We in it to play in your sandbox, but at the same time, we got to make money too, because at the end of the day, you get your check. They get it twice a week or once a month. We have to wait to get ours, right? We have to wait and be patient. If we got a loss, we got to cover that loss. They don't have to worry about that. So it's different things that we have to, as business owners or franchisees, going knowing, it's business. And one thing that I can celebrate. I don't know about you, Mr. T. I've never worked for nobody out of college. Ever. I've always been an entrepreneur. Working with my dad, his businesses with my brothers, and they paid the business. So I've never worked for anyone. And I'm just piggyback on what you said earlier about, when you go to college, the first thing my professor asked, everybody in the class, who you gonna work for?
Right.
Came to me, so I'm not gonna work for anyone. He said,
Right.
"Oh, I forgot. You're gonna work for your brothers. Y'all got your own business." So we got to get to that point. If I can make a company millions, I can make it for myself.
Right.
You got to step out on faith and make it happen. You got to be consistent and persistent with what you do. And two, the last piece of it, Mr. T, I guess before we go into that last piece, you touched on some things about, certain franchisors have a clause in a franchise agreement. It's called an early closure penalty. That's what it's called, early
Mm-hmm.
closure penalties. And a lot of them do have that clause, which I think it's a leverage. My opinion is it's used leverage for them at the end of the day, but I don't think it's right. Because just like you said, if you lost $1 million and you trying to get me to pay you for lost royalties, that means that don't add up. But at the end of the day, we read it, we agreed to it. Saying we did. But I think, like you said, it's important for you to read and understand. If you don't, get your attorney so they can read and help you understand. And two, more importantly, people don't understand. You have to personally guarantee these franchise agreements. Meaning, if that business fail, if you don't pay royalties, they're going to come get you personally, right? Meaning that your assets will be exposed to them. If
Mm-hmm.
whatever you do is still gonna be exposed. So that's important that you figure out, you understand what you're doing when you sign a franchise agreements like we did. We understood that we was person get, but you know what, Mr. T, life's not guaranteed. And I do deals now. If I go do a deal with a landlord, I want you to person guarantee it. It's okay. I want you to person guarantee it too. Why I can't do it? Why I can't do it? You know what I mean? And I know it's your building and so forth and so on. But summing all this up, Mr. T, I think the most important, and I'm gonna ask you, the most important aspect of being in business is community involvement. I kind of kind of sum everything up with how important you think community involvement is in your success with your business and in life in general.
It's very important. You have to make the people that you're doing business with and your interior, what I call my interior employees, live in the community, and they gotta like me. If they don't like me, then the business is certainly not going to be successful. The schools and the churches, like I was just saying earlier, oftentimes, and you made a great point, not to switch back to it, but when the preacher might be in church praying on Sunday. They'll pray and they'll pray for everybody to get a job. And I'm like, when is he going to say, let's pray for these people's businesses? You know, that almost ought to be in front of praying for people's jobs, because the businesses create jobs. And oftentimes our people don't really think about it that way because they're not geared to think in that manner. We are geared to think in, Mr. Charlie is going to give us a job. I'm going to go to school to get a job. And I really would hope that, during my lifetime, I'll be able to see that trend change. And I'm seeing it from the folk like LeBron James and other folk with means are hiring within, or are changing the landscape. Very, very proud of these young entrepreneurs that are opening up their own brand and are being very successful with their brands. So I think as that continue, I mean, I stand up in a chair and clap every time I hear there's a lady down in Atlanta that's opened up several restaurants, and she's been super successful with her own. I forget her name, but
Slutty Vegans.
Yeah, Slutty. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of we should be holding these people up in the highest esteem, and so that other young people that look like us can say, "Hey, we're going to be doing something of that nature in that are not friendly for you doing business," and maybe those folk will come up with something that's a lot more user friendly to the people that might want to go in business. Maybe they'll have some spinoffs, and their spinoffs won't be so confining or so restrictive to just collect their 4 or 5% royalties and really don't care about the other folk that's around them. So to get back to, you got to be involved with schools and the churches, getting involved, well, because that's who comes and purchases our food. And oftentimes when they come, they're not coming because of the brand. They're coming because they know Mr. Turner owns this business, and they are patronizing Mr. Turner by way of whatever brand that you represent. They are patronizing whoever by way of whatever brand that you represent. So I certainly look forward to continuing to see young folk continue to grow themselves and grow brands of their own, to see that be successful.